Hey guys, Ash here, coming at you today sharing a new farming strategy that's actually viable. In today's episode, I'm hopefully going to convince you that P.E.K.K.A.s equal the best Dark Elixir farming strategy in the game right now. Now, there's a few reasons behind that, and namely, it's because you just saw flash on your screen the new P.E.K.K.A. troop training time. Now that P.E.K.K.A.s have been reduced to only 15-minute training time, I've been combining them with a Super Queen type army that takes about 45 minutes to cook. You'll see yesterday, I actually made over 100,000 Dark Elixir, and if you extrapolate that over a 12-hour period, I could have made over 130,000 Dark Elixir during that time period, considering I am in Master 3 when you add in that Dark Elixir bonus, which is, I believe, 550. So let's go into some of these replays here. Don't want to show you that replay. I want to make sure it's a little bit more of a trickier base design. That way you can see how I'm tackling these bases. I am targeting any base, Town Hall 9 or Town Hall 10, and I'm going to show you one of those Town Hall 10 attacks. I just handle them a little bit differently depending on what type of base I'm going to go up against, and that will dictate exactly what type of strategy I use. You have a lot of versatility with these Super Queen, Queen Walk type armies. I absolutely love this strategy. I plan on maxing my heroes ASAP using this strategy. So the idea here is I'm farming every half an hour to 45 minutes depending on if I'm boosting or I'm not boosting. I'll show you how I cook the troops in a second here, but I'm going to go ahead and hit every base the same way in the beginning. Going to start with the Super Queen Walk. Going to go ahead and put down my Clan Castle. I put it over here because I knew I had some Valkyries in there on this attack. Then you want to use about half of your wizards or so to set up that funnel, and then the rest of your wizards will follow the P.E.K.K.A.s into the core of the base. That's usually, obviously, where the Dark Elixir is located. So here you can see I've created the funnel with those wizards and the Valkyries. If you don't have Valkyries, you can even use one P.E.K.K.A. to actually create that funnel, act as a meat shield, and then surround a few wizards behind that P.E.K.K.A. Or you can use giants if you want to. There's a lot of flexibility, but the main thing is still important. You want to get your king, and you want to get eventually your queen, and of course, mainly, you want to get the 3 P.E.K.K.A.s into the core of the base, take down that Dark Elixir, and more often than not, when you're using 4 P.E.K.K.A.s, especially if you have them at level 3 or higher, if you're Town Hall 10 or 11, you're totally going to wipe out most of these bases. Now, the cool thing about this strategy, like I said, is as a Town Hall 9, I'm actually able to hit any Town Hall 10 base that I want to, and I'll show you how to do that as well. The only difference being is you're not going to 3-star these Town Hall 10 bases more often than not. You're just going to create a more direct route exactly to where that Dark Elixir storage is. The army is heavy enough to handle any base at either Town Hall 9 or Town Hall 10. Let's go ahead and show an example at Town Hall 10 here. You can see all the Dark Elixir around 5k is right in the center, right here. That's where we want to get our P.E.K.K.A.s to. So we're going to make a really obvious direct route to that Dark Elixir storage. Right coming in from right here where I drop the Archer Queen, you're going to see how I set up a very simple funnel that I'm just going to use my 2 jump spells to jump into that core, take down the Dark Elixir, and man, this strategy is just awesome. So let's talk a little bit about why this strategy is now so viable in the game and why I think it is the absolute best strategy for farming Dark Elixir. So one, obviously, the army is not new, right? You could always use 4 P.E.K.K.A.s and a bunch of wizards along with the healers and queen to farm Dark Elixir. I mean, the army has absolutely no elixir cost, Dark Elixir cost, excuse me. It is rather heavy on the elixir cost, especially if you are using wizards, as I prefer to do. But with the new troop training times, you can actually get 15 to 20 of these attacks in a day, and if you want to boost, even if you're not going to be by your device 24/7, I'll be honest with you guys, at work, I'm able to attack maybe once per hour or so, once per hour, once for 45 minutes. If you go back and look at my attack log, you'll see there was around 40 minutes to an hour between most of my attacks. So throughout the day, throughout my work day, if I can get 8 to 10 attacks in, that's awesome. And then when I'm home, I'm able to maybe boost for an hour. I'm able to get an additional 4 or 5 attacks in. You can end up getting 20 to 30 attacks in if you're a really active player. And guess what? If you're not an active player, you can still use this army. It's still going to be the strongest army you can possibly use. Maybe right up there rivaled with a Valkyrie army right now. But with Valkyrie armies, they're an awesome farming army for Golden Elixir. They're just not obviously ideal for farming Dark Elixir. You end up treading a lot of water and making really small and slow gains with the Valkyrie army, such as I actually have cooking right now. Let me go ahead and get rid of this army, then I'll show you how I cook up this army and just show you why it's so effective now. So obviously, A, it's really a really heavy army, and B, it is much faster to actually cook now. That's why it's incredibly viable, because before, sure, you could farm maybe 40, 50k Dark Elixir a day if you were lucky with this type of army. You could cook it up before you went to sleep, and it would be ready in the morning. Now, with these 15-minute cook times and these 5-10-minute cook times for healers and wizards, it's a total game changer, an absolute game changer as far as just being able to farm almost constantly throughout the day. Let's thank our clanmate here, and you can see how I'm cooking up this army in my barracks here. So I generally make 2 Pekkas and a couple wizards in 2 of my barracks, and then the other 2 barracks, in one I'll make 1 healer and about 9 or 10 wizards, and then the other one I'll put 3 healers, then the rest of the wizards in there, and then I'll turn off the game, and about, like I said, around 40-45 minutes later, the army is ready to go, and no matter what level your heroes are, with the new hero regen times, the heroes will be up and ready to go for every single raid. Now, if you don't have your heroes up, if they're upgrading for whatever reason, I'll go ahead and recommend you watch my Valkyrie farming video. I really love this rotation of farming my heroes, my Dark Elixir for my heroes rather, with this Pekka army, and then when I upgrade them, I'll switch to Valkyries because they're still really powerful. A mass Valkyrie army can totally take care of most of these Town Hall 9 villages. As soon as I find the replay that I want to, I'll show you another replay. Okay, so we'll get into this replay here. So I'm going to start again. It's very simple, guys. You're going to start with the Queen Walk. I would advise that your Queen is at least level 10, preferably closer to level 15 to do a Super Queen strategy. But what are you going to do here is make an obvious lane right to the center of the base using your Queen with 4 healers in the beginning of the raid. Now, you guys probably already know this, but when you get more than 4 healers onto your Archer Queen, that stack is going to pay really small dividends. In other words, the 5th healer that I would add to this army right now, if I was to add a 5th healer, they would actually have a very negligible impact on the actual heals being done to my Archer Queen. So you can see here I deploy 1 Pekka early with a bunch of wizards. That Pekka will go around and he'll ultimately die, but that's okay. I just wanted to make sure I have a funnel all set up and ready for the rest of the Pekkas in the Barbarian King and the rest of the wizards. So again, I'm using some wizards to create that funnel with that first Pekka there. Then the rest of the wizards will come in a big line and a little bit of a delay after those Pekkas. The reason for that few second delay between the Pekkas and the wizards is pretty obvious, but in case you haven't picked it up, it is because of the giant bombs that might be there. Obviously, a Pekka can withstand every single giant bomb in the entire base, but wizards will die, so make sure that line of wizards, you're waiting a little bit before you deploy them. Awful rage spell by yours truly, but it doesn't really matter. I still end up taking care of most of the base. I get all the Dark Elixir. That's all that really matters here, so it's a sloppy example of a raid, but either way, time, you're not necessarily going to 3-star every single base because Pekkas are so slow moving. It's just really important that you get all that Dark Elixir out of these bases. So that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, and next time you want to max out your heroes or you want to get them upgrading and you want to do some power Dark Elixir farming, I really hope that I've convinced you to at least consider using Pekkas along with Super Queen. I guarantee you won't regret it, and your Dark Elixir storages will certainly thank you. So guys, thank you so much again, and as always, take care, guys.
We don't play for fame, we don't play for cash. We just play for the glory and the crash of the ash.